Hello, everybody. Thanks for everybody coming in and tuning in tonight. We have a special show for you guys and a special guest for you guys, and we're going to have a panel discussion as well. So it will be a couple of people on the panel with us tonight, along with my co-host, who is going to be scrolling through in a second. But anyway, everybody, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the share button, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, to the Hood Table, if you are not already subscribed, and make sure you hit the notification bell. And while everybody is coming on in, we're going to go ahead and play some little tunes right now.
You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable. Hop on YouTube, welcome to the Hood Table, where we chop up local and globally. You already gonna miss out on these conversations. Just joke a little, laugh a little, get that wine in your system for your glass a little. Expose current events, talk trash a little. You never know, these opinions might clash a little. They're addicted to the content, got them binge watching. You don't like it, then you want to invite and bet your friends watching in the house and your job parking lot before you clocking. They don't want to miss a second of this HD content. Everybody think they got something to say, so it's an open invitation, bring it to the table. But if you come whack, just know we ain't buying in. We gon' probably turn you back until you sorry, try again. Yeah, welcome to the Hood Table, y'all. You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable. Yeah, welcome to the Hood Table. You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable.
Again, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the share button. We have a very, very special guest who is going to speak to us about an important topic that we are going to discuss with all of you guys. And as usual, during the panel, during the discussion, feel free to drop down in the chat and let us know if you have any opinions, if you have any questions, especially for our special guest. I'm going to go ahead and bring on one of my co-hosts tonight who is going to be doing the interview with me, and that is YouTuber Cool Daddy. So let me bring him on right now. Hey, Aisha in the chat. Hey, girl. How you doing?
Hey, Tanya.
Everybody, you might have met Cool before because he's been on a panel with us before, but it was over on my Tanya's Primetime channel. So he's here tonight to help me do this interview with our special guest. Everybody, again, come on in, hit the like button, hit the share button. We have something important that we want to discuss with you tonight. And our special guest of the hour, I'm going to bring him on. His name is Travis Washington. And some of you might have heard of the Hands Up Act. So tonight we have Travis Washington with us, and he's going to explain to us what the Hand Up Act petition is that he created and how we can do, or what we can do to help. So let me bring him on. Hey,
hello,
Travis.
everybody. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciated it. I want to say thank you guys for also sharing my petition and actually being a part of it. I know it's not as popular now, but I'm going to continue to fight. And I want to tell your audience, thank you. I appreciate you guys supporting her for all these years. Well, my name is Travis Washington. I'm the creator of the Hands Up Act. It's a policy where if a police officer shoots somebody unarmed, it's a mandatory 15-year prison sentence. My goal is to make sure this is a federal law of the land. I'm trying to get a committee hearing with the House of Representatives and get the United Nations Human Rights Council involved, because the United Nations is a government fraction that is made up of 193 countries across the globe. The United States has already ruled police shootings of unarmed people is a new form of lynching in America. So I feel like if we keep that pressure on, then it'll change how we view police shootings and push by law forward. And it shows that we have nothing to hide, and we have full confidence not only in our police force, but we have full confidence in our citizens to feel like they feel comfortable within our situation.
Okay. Well, thank you for explaining that to our viewers, the people who are watching, again, this is Travis Washington, our special guest. He is the creator of the Hands Up Act petition. And again, like he said, it's going to more like make police officers more accountable for their actions when they're killing people who are actually unarmed, and 15 years automatic penalty for when they do. So I really like the act, and we had talked about it about 6 months ago, and we had a panel then, and it was Cool Daddy and I and another person on YouTube, and we were speaking about it. And Travis Washington, he happened to come across our video and see that we were talking about his petition, and I thought it'd be really nice to bring him on to the panel to, you know, give us further details. So, Cool, do you want to start off asking him anything particular about the act first?
Yeah. One thing that I wanted to ask you is that where did this what, when you came up with the idea, like what was like, all right, I gotta do this? Was it you? Was it like someone else that, you know, you brought the idea to somebody else? Was you speaking about it? Like what made you like take action with this?
So I've been politically active for a long time. I've been like reading politics like since like 11th grade. I studied for a long time. I had this idea around 3 years ago, like, you know what, I'm gonna wait till I'm a senator or congressman to push it through. But then I began to realize it's incredibly selfish of me. Why do I have to be in a position of power to create this law? So I had it for 2 years. And then I was typing it up, and I was kind of hesitant about, you know, posting it as a petition. I was kind of scared and nervous about it. But then I felt this like spiritual moment. Like it's hard to describe. I was on the train, and it was just like this spiritual moment where it's like it was an out of body experience of, like, when Dr. King said he was praying to God, he's like, he heard the lightning roar and the thunder crash, and he heard the voice of Jesus saying, never alone. Mm-hmm. I felt that like same presence from like God. It's undescribable type of feeling where it's like post it.
Right.
And then I did. It took off at first. Like, you know, I had a whole bunch of friends supporting 25 signatures, but I never would have thought it got to like, you have the idea like, yeah, let's get a lot of signatures. But it's a different feeling of seeing it reach 400,000. And it's like, who's going to stick up? Who's going to stand up? Like, I watch all these TV shows. Like, my favorite superhero is like Robin from Teen Titans, right? I see all these heroes stand up to the moment, and they face the evil doer, the evil villain. I'm like, why aren't you doing it in the real world? If Dr. King did it, if Malcolm X did it, if Harriet Tubman did it, Ida B. Wells did it, Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, why not you? Right. And that's just where it came from. I'm like, enough is enough.
Right. Well, that was one of the questions I was going to ask too. So give him a second.
Yeah, but and also, I couldn't imagine losing my brother like that. That was a big thing. That was a huge factor for me. I was just telling her I couldn't imagine losing my brother, shot unarmed to the police. I couldn't live without him. So that would take me to a very dark place. So that's why I'm like, yeah, this is not only for me, this is for somebody else's brother, dad, uncle, aunt. Enough is enough.
Yeah. And see, that's why I was going to ask you that too as well, because I was wondering, like, when I first heard about it, when Cool first brought it to my attention months ago, I was thinking, you know, because sometimes things get started like that because it's a personal experience, like we know someone close to the family, close to home, you know.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you that too. Was it like a personal thing, or was it something you was just compelled to do because of just all the tragedies around, you know, the world?
Can I tell you something? Of all the questions I've ever heard, I feel like that's the hardest one because everybody's affected by a tragedy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Everybody on this channel has that one person that was shot on the arm that like stuck with them. Like one of my best friends, the one death that took him over the edge where he quit with Sandra Bland's, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have some people where it was like Tamir Rice, some people was Freddie Gray, right? But I kept on seeing it over and over again. I kept on thinking like, who's next? Nobody else is saying anything. I mean, we do have people say it. We do have people say things, but like I said, I've been studying politics since 10th grade. I read enough slave narratives. Watched enough civil rights activist videos in the 60s. I was like, I know how this process works. And I was like, I got to be the one to do it. I got to be the one to do it. I'm not saying I'm doing it by myself. I have friends behind me, but it's like I had to do it.
Right.
Yeah, because like without people like you guys, there's no sharing it. Like I'm not by myself. I'm just saying somebody had to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Somebody had to do it. And I would have never imagined anything like this.
Yeah.
Presented. So I'm glad like it only takes one person to get something started like this. And a lot of bills get passed. Like you said, you was thinking about it, you know, something came to you, God spoke to you. It's like you might have been like, you know, unsure, but that's how a lot of these laws get passed. People might be a little intimidated or timid at first, and then they just go forth with it. So I'm really hoping, that it gets passed.
Yeah, thank you.
Here's our co-host.
Sorry, I'm late.
Karma. She's in the house. But one thing I wanted to ask you. Now, you said you had 400. I checked. It was pressing to 500,000. It was getting pretty close.
Yes,
to 500,000. So I am going to drop the link in the chat so that people, you know, can sign the petition and, you know, read, you know, the full description of the petition, you know, and everything like that, and so people can share it. Is there anything you want to ask before I start with my
Well, no, I just wanted to say I was listening here for a few minutes, and you said, why not you? Why not you? You know, like you said, every act, every time something big, major has happened in our history, in our collective history, somebody has to take the forefront. Somebody has to be that leader. Somebody has to be that change. So why not you? Mm-hmm. We all talk about the changes that need to be made in our communities, in our lives. Be the change that you want to see.
Yeah. And I wanted to go off of that was a lot of Black people, let's be honest, grow up with the insecurity of not reading their history books, or they say they know, but they don't like to dive in it.
Right.
It's a Black psyche type of damage. But I'm very thankful for Africana studies. And even with my dad trying to force me to watch the Angela Davis and stuff, like I grew up in the suburbs around a lot of white kids. So I'm like, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
He did the best he could, right? I give him credit for it. But to connect to what your point is, that I will, after reading Slave Narratives, after experiencing Africana studies, I listened to what my granny said, and we were watching Miss Jane Pittman, and they asked the child, "Are you the one? Are you the one?" And then my granny's like, "Travis, are you the one?" And like,
oh, wow.
I'm the one. And that's the crazy thing is, because you don't think she knows, but she knows.
They knew.
Yeah, they knew. They know. And that tells me, like, when I pay attention to my elders very, very specifically, because you think that they're just adamant and still, but they know more than we can ever know. Because, like, she grew up in Mississippi in the South, so she knows things that I don't know.
And you know, we are one of the only ethnicities that don't honor our elderly.
Not like we should.
Not like we should. I'm not gonna say we don't. That don't, I don't. But as a collective, we don't sit and listen and pass these traditions down like they do in the Asian culture, like they do in the Mexican culture or Hispanic culture. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Collectively. It does not happen that way. Yeah. And that's sad, because for me, like, you said you spend time with your granny. That's all I grew up around was the elder. Mm-hmm. And so even now we go to a reunion and everybody else is sitting over here playing cards and stuff. I'm sitting on the porch with the old people like this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what separated me a lot from a lot of kids. Was I did hang out with, like, nobody else pays attention to them. And I understand why, because nobody wants to be reminded of the past. When you see them, you think segregation, humiliation, but through that, I see triumph. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be mature enough to accept that. You have to educate yourself, and you got to accept, okay, these horrific things happen, but these horrific things did not define who they are. Exactly. Slavery did not define Frederick Douglass. Sojourner true like that, and that did not define who she was. She kept on fighting for freedom. So it's like these horrific moments in our lives do not define who you are. It's how you overcome.
Right. Well, I know one thing. As far as the elderly, as far as these laws goes, like I'm sure a lot of older citizens, especially African Americans in that community, would love to see something like this happen because of the fact the last big thing when it comes to us was exile and slavery. Then the next thing was the school, the school district, version of school districts. And then it's like there really was nothing after that. And it seems like back in slavery, when we had the black people being killed and lynched and all that, once that was demolished, it was like, for some reason, we're still dying by the authorities all the time, at the hand of authorities all the time. So I think this would be like the next big thing after those two laws. You know what I mean? And I think there are probably a lot of elderly people who are looking forward to something like that happen because they're like, okay, we made all these changes, but we always say not enough change has been made.
Yes.
Or, what's next? Oh, I'm gonna read some of the comments in the chat. Hey, Felicia Fee, how you doing? Good evening. She said, good evening to the hood table and the guests. She said, we are traditions in the black homes. Yes, I truly, truly agree.
I think that's the problem. I think as far as me, I look at how I grew up. You know what I'm saying? My mom worked so much, she didn't have time to talk to me and my sisters or my siblings about stuff because she was a single mother.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's the the situation. I'm not gonna say the environment. Sometimes it's the situation you in.
Yeah.
And there's not nobody you can talk to. Because as I got older, I started thinking independently. So when I was like growing up, I wasn't really thinking for myself. I feel like I was thinking like I was more of a follower. I wasn't more of like open-minded how I am now. But as I got older, I seen how like my homies was around me. I seen like when I wanted to change my lifestyle, like going to school and things like that, they wasn't on that type of stuff. They was looking at me like, cool, like, what you gonna do? You ain't got money, you ain't got this. I'm like, well, I know you don't need money to pursue what I'm pursuing. I had to find myself because I always wanted to go to college and stuff. I had to make some choices, you know what I'm saying? But now when I like have these conversations with people I used to hang around with and stuff, now it's connecting to them now. You know what I'm saying? That's before, like 8 years ago when I was changing my life, it wasn't connected to them. Now they got understanding, you know what I'm saying? Because we was more into the streets than actual TV or listening to an adult, period, because we had our own mindset. So I think sometimes the elders need to push stuff on us, like sit down, let me talk to you for a second. You know what I'm saying? So I think we can do that more, like have that conversation like, hey, I know we talk about this and that, but you need to learn about your history, because example, like Marcus Garvey, I didn't know who Marcus Garvey was. The only reason why I knew who Marcus Garvey was because Kendrick Lamar had a song and he rapped about him, and he said something about he would have followed Marcus Garvey if he didn't tear his ACL or something. I'm like, who is this? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's how a lot of times I get up on like history, just like I came up on this, just news feed. This ain't nothing I planned on. It was just me being curious of what's going on, and I heard something. So sometimes it be like that as well. So I agree with you, like, having that conversation, more with the kids, not just with the kids. Like, as I got older, I'm checking kids, just in the neighborhood, just trying to be on some safe type stuff, or, educate them about stuff that's going on in the world that I feel like they shouldn't do, or, advice that I can give them that, they can learn from something that they may have been saying or I see them doing. So I definitely agree with that. That is important.
I actually wanted to ask you, like, have you heard any feedback since you started this? I know you probably get a lot of feedback from just, normal everyday people like us. But have you got any feedback from like people in law enforcement or people like police officers? Like some people feel like, if police are, like right now, a lot of people get murdered because police are sometimes trigger happy, sometimes afraid. I don't know what the main reason is, but do you feel like some police officers might be like, they might be more apt to be shot at or injured if they take too much precaution? I mean, I hope you know what I'm trying to.
The question is, what do I have like police officers that come up to me and question this?
Well, like not necessarily like. I mean, I know you've done other interviews, and I don't know if you actually like got out in the public, like going to certain places or certain events or anything like that. Do you ever have people like in law enforcement, like having a negative response to something like this?
The one thing I know is that there was one negative article written about me, but I didn't look much into it. And I know there was another story that a friend told me. Like I said, I don't pay attention to it because I know if you do, it just takes you down a dark path where it got like 20,000 views on YouTube. But I don't look into that because like I'm not worried about that. I'm worried because it's like that means I'm on the right direction. Because it's like I just gotta keep moving forward and staying on topic. But to answer the questions, I gave a speech in the College Democrats of America. I gave a speech at the Michael Brown Foundation, and I'm about to do a TED Talk next week on it. TEDx Talk. And I hope that TEDx Talks reaches more viewers, and it'll hold more weight when I share it. That's the goal. Like now and I'm trying to change the title from Hands Up Act to Hands Up Act will punish police if shooting unarmed citizens. Like that's what I'm trying to make the title so it can get straight to the point.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Because I don't want to mess around with Hands Up Act. Like, what does that mean? But if I put that whole title in there, now people are like, oh, okay, let me see it now.
Okay.
And I had 6 governor staffers call me, but it's more like we're interested, we see you, but we don't want to make a move on it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And another thing I wanted to do was, I know that you graduated last May, right?
Congratulations.
Yes.
Congrats. That. And also I want to know, like, have you ever thought about, besides doing this, have you ever thought of, like, going into politics? And if so, like, what position or what, party, or do you see yourself being like, running for, I don't know, maybe mayor in the future or governor or anything at all in the politics?
Any political aspirations in the future?
To be completely honest, I did. I do. I did, and I did, and I do. But I don't want to put my aspirations before this policy, because I had somebody tell me who wanted me to run for alderman said, if you go this route, you won't become alderman or become senator. And I'm like, I'll sacrifice all that just for this become law. Like it to me, it's always been a dream. It would be a lie for me to say it's not. But to me, this is more important than anything else. This is more important than any aspirations I could ever have. Like, and Dr. King is literally, his last speech says he wanted to live a long life, a very long life.
Yeah.
But he didn't make it. Malcolm X wanted to live a long life. So if they're willing to die, I think I can give up on my political dream.
Just to say,
I'll feel you on that.
Yeah, because I can't.
Don't you think that their legacy is living for them?
Say again?
I said, you're saying that they wanted to live a long life.
Yeah.
And their mortal life may have come to an end, but their legacy has lived on and continues to live on. Wouldn't you say?
No, I absolutely agree with that. But yeah, I just, as much as I would, but it's not the focus. It's not.
Right.
They can put, because let's just say they can throw that in front of me. I'm just gonna be honest, tell the viewers, they can throw that in front of me. Like, you want this position? Just let it go. I'm not gonna let it go. I like I said, I know a lot of things about coups. I know a lot of things about foreign aid. Like I know how all this stuff works because they offered Dr. King after the Civil Rights Bill passed. They offered Dr. King a spot in the White House. Like that's big time.
Yeah,
he was in charge of the poverty, like they were going to give him a job on poverty. And you know, a lot of Black people are like in poverty, but he chose to go with the Voting Rights Act. So like I know how this works. Yeah, the Hands Up Act comes before anything else. I don't care about nothing else but that.
Well, see, you know they do it as a detraction. They offer you these big, we'll give you this job, this shiny job, this much money, but they want you to stop what you're doing, the movement that you are making. That's why they do it. Baby, don't fall for the trick. Don't fall for the
I want to tell you, I was offered I don't want to sell any merchandise. This is all free. Like I said, I don't want to make money off of dead bodies. Period. Because I know after there's an unarmed shooting, people start selling T-shirts and make their profit. But this is why I told people, James Baldwin, Malcolm X, Dr. King, Ida B. Wells were not rich. I won't be rich either. I don't want to make money off of dead bodies because I was offered like a $10,000 contract, right? To start selling T-shirts, items, clothes. And I'm like, no, I can't do it. And 2 mentors I told that to, they said they were very, very proud of me because I'm like, no, as soon as money's involved, it's a problem.
Yeah,
right.
It sometimes go just a totally different way. I applaud you for that because a lot of people, like you said, they're like, yeah, we sell hats, wristbands.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why I really believe that was a spiritual gift from God because God knew I would not sell out for money because at the end of the day, I could be a millionaire, a billionaire, but people are still being shot on arms. Not worth it.
Yeah.
Right. I was just going to ask you that too.
Yeah. No.
Well, what do you got to say about police training? Now, I know where we're going with the act, and we're trying to make it so that they're punished accordingly for the act. But what do you got to say about like training? Like, do you think there is anything at all? Like, that's one thing people always talk about every time it's a shooting. We need to re-educate. We need to. I mean, what else could possibly?
It's like they knew that before they went out there. I mean, my thinking is this. How are you scared of me? You have on a flak jacket. You have a gun, a taser.
You know that's an excuse.
Yeah.
How you scared of me?
My answer to that is when they say to me it's not about training, it's more about punishment. Mm-hmm. What's the punishment? Number two, if you really care about training, learn what they do in the United Kingdom. Like my act is so focused on unarmed shooting, but the United Kingdom, you don't hear everybody get shot unarmed. Police don't carry guns, and out there in the United Kingdom, they carry knives. They fist fight. So
what?
Yeah, exactly. They carry knives, and you have a taser.
Oh wow!
So how do they handle those situations?
I did not know that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm like, that is a whole different legislation. But what I'm saying is, the more training, if they want to do more training, cool. My main focus will always be just get this Hands Up Act passed because it's like that's up to them. That's a whole nother bill of funding because we always say more training, more training. Okay, you do more training. This dude who's racist because the person who shot Antoine Rose, mother who is in contact with me, Antoine Rose was the officer who shot Antoine Rose. He did that on his first day on the job.
Wow!
Right, fresh out the force, did that on the first day of the job. So he's fresh from training, and he did that. He does this. Shoot somebody in the back 3 times. So I mean, like, if you train him even longer, it would just be somebody else.
Right.
Well, they got body cameras now, and they still making excuses.
Exactly.
So the body cameras, that's what I'm saying. When we say body cameras, that's not the issue either. Because I remember Malcolm X was holding a newspaper up in like 1963 saying like 7 unarmed Negroes were shot in California. This was before body cameras. So they knew they were shot unarmed. Yeah. So we know what unarmed is. And I'm sure you guys watch all these crime TV shows, Criminal Minds, Cold Case, and all that. So they can tell when how you died, where your body was laying. So they can tell when somebody's armed or not. So it's not a train. To me, it's not training, it's not body camera. It is what is the punishment.
Now I read an article before I came over, and it was written from from the law enforcement. Yeah. No, that's not it. It was written by law enforcement. They were like, "Oh, this kid thinks he knows more about policing than we do out here on the streets." And no. But one of the questions they were saying that this bill is solely based on the potential of somebody having a gun. But what about other weapons? Or like maybe not even a physical weapon. Maybe somebody is like a 225-pound guy up against a 125-pound female, and maybe the man is trained in martial arts. Do you consider that a weapon? How are you wording this? Is this solely based on it being a firearm, or how are you?
My whole sole base is firearm, and it's up to the legislative aides to be detailed in the legislation. Because when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, unarmed, period. But if they want to go the route where if the dude's 220 pounds, well, that's a whole nother bill right there. Because my thing is, there are officers that are females who are 5'2", 120 without a gun that goes against somebody 6'8", 250. How does she address that person? They do it in the United Kingdom, so that means you got to copy somebody's training and bring it over here. But my main point is unarmed is unarmed. If it's a cell phone, it's a wallet, that's unarmed. You're shooting them unarmed. That's 15 years right there. Tamir Rice, same thing.
That was
that make me mad.
That pisses me off. I've said a number of times, you want to piss me off, talk about messing with the kids, the elderly, or individuals who cannot take care of themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody in the chat, I just put the link to the petition to the change.org website for that petition. Some people are already talking about they're going to check out the petition. One of the questions from Felicia Travis was, she said, how do you approach the discussion for the Hands Up Act movement? Like, I think she wants to know, are you, Felicia Fee, do you mean how will we approach it, or how does he approach it?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
I think she's
until she responds. So when you are, say, like, do you go to like some of these galas they have or whatever, or maybe a city council meeting or something like that? Do you go and speak to them and bring it up then?
Yeah, what happened, I was invited for a gala. I was invited to the Michael Brown's Foundation Gala, where I met Tamir Rice's mom, Michael Brown's mother, and other mothers who lost their son to unarmed shootings. So I'll bring it up there. But the main reason why I don't want to bring it to the legislative lounge, I want you to come to me. Yeah. If you really truly care, you come to me, because if I chase you down, then you can ignore it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I want you to know, like, no, I'm not going to mess around with you. If you actually truly care about people being shot unarmed, you would come to me. Now, for example, like you guys, radio host shows, go ahead, right on. Like, yeah, this is my job to email you guys. But like when it comes to somebody in politics, no, you need to come over here because people are dying.
Yeah.
Are you willing to give up your seat so somebody can live? Your congressional seat? Come on now. But yeah, that's if that's how she's saying, or if she's also saying, how do I approach it when I mention it? I just tell them straight up, do you believe it's okay to shoot somebody unarmed or not? If they say yes, then I'm not going to waste my time convincing them. I don't have to convince you of anything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know one of the experts, I read a little part of the act. A little part of the act that you created says, we know how so many people of cultural minorities are in constant fear of leaving their household. This fear in our lives lives in our lives far too often, comes from individuals working in public safety who harm people. Every single week we hear about another unarmed, vulnerable human being by the police. This has increased the trauma and fear that has made people of color scared to leave their homes. And that is true for a lot of people. That's just a little part of the act, the petition that Travis has created. For the whole petition and the whole description of the petition, just click on the link in the chat to the change.org. But yeah, did you want to speak on that?
And before you speak on that real fast,
yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to throw this in to piggyback on what you just said, with what you read, Tanya, from what he wrote. My best friend, her daughter, she ain't even came into an encounter with a cop, but if a cop ride past us, she act like they looking for her. Like she spooked, you know what I'm saying? Like to piggyback on what you wrote that he read. I mean, that's what you read.
Mm-hmm. I believe.
And yeah, to go off what you say is that there's something that I always say whenever I'm in the interview that's important, and this is exactly what we talked about with do you understand what we were talking about earlier about like we have children who are brown and black who are being sexually assaulted, right? Who do they go to? Let's just say you try to go to the police, but you see a video of somebody brown and black being shot, or if that molester says,
right,
you get shot by the police if you snitch on me, they're going to continue to deal with that abuse.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, what a lot of people don't understand is that you just think it affects brown and black people, but we forget how many white children grew up looking up to brown and black people, and they might think it's them.
Yeah.
Right.
So everybody, it's a universal problem. So that's why I'm like, how can I go to a police officer if I see somebody who looks like me or who somebody I think looks like me get shot in the arm? You're not going to go to the police officer. What are you going to do? You're going to continue to deal with that abuse. And that's what I mean by like, that's fear right there. That's sickening right there.
It is.
That is so messed up. And almost, I think 90% of the nation, I mean, a lot of people say, you know, murder is the worst crime. But let's just say, put that aside, right? We all agree child molestation and rape is like the worst thing you can do to a human being.
Yeah.
Right.
Now imagine dealing with that abuse because you can't go to law enforcement.
Right.
How do you live? How are you not on drugs? And we wonder why people
do it over and over and over. They never, even if you overcome it, you are still living it over and over in your head. It may not have been the person that done it to you, but it's somebody's similar build, similar form. They may sound like you.
And then Felicia Fee, she responded, Travis, she said, example, do you go door to door, similar discussion, churches? She said, do you do that route as well?
No, I just email it to a whole bunch of people. Like I emailed it to Lorraine Motel where Dr. King died. They shared it. The NAACP in Atlanta, they shared it. The College Democrats of America. Like I just send it because it's like, hello, do you support my petition or not? It's like, I don't want to do that. I want people to like read it online because I don't want to get in somebody's face, because when you get in somebody's face, that's an hour, 2 hour conversation trying to convince them. And it's like, if you believe in it, you'll sign it.
Okay. Right. Are you?
Yeah, I'm very, very patient. Huh?
Are you only pushing this towards minorities, or are you making this?
No, everybody. Because Daniel Shaver, the white dude who was
he was white.
Yeah, his hands were up. That video was messed up. His hands were up in the Arizona hotel. He was begging for his life. The police officer shot him unarmed. Daniel Shaver's cousin contacted me, telling me that she supports a petition. And not only that, that same officer, that white officer who shot another white officer, was hired by a different police force and received a $31,000 yearly pension. So it's a universal problem. Yeah. So when people say, no, police brutality is universal.
Right.
And my favorite main narrative was by Ellen Craft. She was a white woman who was enslaved in Louisiana. She said the following facts are sufficient to prove he who has the power shall trample the sacred rights of the weak, no matter the color of their skin. So that's why I'm like, it doesn't matter who's in charge. If I can take advantage of your body, I will.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got another question from the chat. They said, have either of you, this question is for both of you guys from the chat. It says, have either of you personally dealt with any mishaps from the law authorities? And hey, Deanna, welcome to the live, hon.
Yes.
Oh, you can go first.
Yes. When I grew up in the projects, so I got harassed a lot, but luckily every time I got harassed, it would be like around where I lived. So it would be other people to like be like, oh, he don't be doing nothing. He's cool. And then sometimes I'll be like, you know, one time me and my friend, I had a rental. Me and my friend, we was going downtown, and a police officer pulled us over just because we was in a nice car. He tried to say that the lights was off, but I know the lights wasn't off because I know how to operate a vehicle. I was sober. And as soon as he pulled us over, he said, "Oh, your headlights was off." And I asked him, I said, "What took you so long to pull me over? You followed me until I saw you turn around. You flashed a light on us. You saw it was two young black men in a nice car." I said, "Just stay honest with me and, tell the truth." And so once he ran our names and saw that we didn't have any warrants or anything, he's like, "Well, can I search the car?" And I'm like, "No, we just want to go on our day. We ain't got no warrants or nothing. You have no reason to search this car. We're not doing anything wrong." And so, yeah, I've definitely had many experiences with the police harassing me, and I don't fear them. I just don't like. The only thing, what would make me happy if it was some police officers that got on the news and been like, "Hey, we not with the police brutality, or we against this." And I haven't seen that yet, so it just makes me not like any of them.
But you know what, sweetheart, you can't do that because you got to think.
I'll let you go.
They may feel that way on the inside.
Yes.
You still got to work with these assholes every day. They still got to work with them every day. And I mean, and believe it or not, because I do not like the profession of law enforcement. That's just me. But I have lots of people that I know that I have grown up with that I'm still friends with. When I see them, "Hey, what's going on? We chopping it up and this and that." And I tell them in a heartbeat, I hate you in that uniform, right? They were like, "You are so stupid." I'm so serious, and you know this. But I don't wish them no harm. But they this is how they feed their families.
Yes.
And,
Yeah. And did you respond to the question, Travis?
Yeah, it's pretty much to be completely honest, I grew up around really nice police officers. I had one come to my house every day. Like, I had a totally different situation. Like, my mom owns the daycare, and the police officer, I'm so used to seeing it, a police car in my house. I used to want to be a police officer for the longest. I even was like part of this thing called Saluki Patrol, a police internship for 2 years. Mm-hmm. It was my dream for a while, but I wasn't that happy on the inside, not because of the job, but it's not something I wanted to do. So I ended up, pursuing politics and getting an internship with the House of Representatives. Uh-huh. But I loved it. It was a great job. I feel like I don't blame police officers. I blame the lawmakers for not making the police officers' jobs easier. Okay. Instead of focusing on petty crimes like larceny, and why not focus on, we have 400,000, what's the word I'm looking for? 400,000 rape kits that have not been tested yet.
Right, yes. They have not been processed.
Yeah, and if you ask, like I said, a majority of people want to focus on that. So I have always had good relations with police officers. Yes, there are individuals in the department who taint the whole department. That's how things work. It really only takes one individual to ruin everything. Because the thing is, if one person does it, it poisons the next person, then the next person. It's a whole cycle.
As they say, one bad apple spoils the bunch.
Spoils the whole bunch.
Yeah, it does. Because if he can get away with it, you're a bad guy. You want to be surrounded by a good environment. Because when you're surrounded by a good environment, it makes you want to do better.
Right.
And to piggyback off that, it makes you think the training, what they do. Because I don't know about you, but like, when I got pulled over before, and like when they get a group of them, it's always one itching to like pull their gun out. It's not like they pulling it out, but it's like they just itching to just pull their gun.
Want you to do something wrong.
Yeah, it's like they want you to do something, move wrong, or hope that you got, about to do something so they can just, I don't know, like it's like.
It's because
I wonder what they train it. Like if they can show us like what they really train them guys on, or it's like if they showing us. And the reason why I say that is because when people come to like Africans, when they come sometimes from over there, they come over here, they show them a video of like negative of Black people and tell them not to associate themselves with us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wondering, if they showing them that, what are they showing the police during their training and becoming an officer, how they viewing us? Are they watching those type of videos? Like if you see somebody that look like this, or they talking or, walking a certain way, approach them and do this?
I'll say this. Think of it like this. Before, I'll say about 98, 99, when they started bringing all those refugees here from like from Sudan.
Yeah, around there.
We think about it. We didn't have no positive images of Africa. All we ever seen was the feed the children, feed the poor. Right. They having a famine. Oh, there's an AIDS crisis, and then of course they got the little baby with the fly crawling all over his eye, and he ain't even swatting it. And so if they showing that to us, what are they showing there? But you got to think it's the same people making these videos, right? So of course they don't want you to have a positive image of where you come from and what you are trying to be, what you're trying to assimilate into. Right. They want you to have a positive image. Yeah. They can't have that. Because see, the thing is, right now we're so divided and they like that. But if we ever come together, if we ever get our act together and we come together as a collective, oh boy.
I know.
This is the start of it right here.
Thank you. I was just about to say that.
Travis got us on the right page.
Yeah.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, we definitely do. Thank you. Unless there's any more questions in the chat or from either of my co-hosts, I'm gonna just let Travis say one thing about his petition proposal. And again, I'm putting the link in the chat. I already put it in there a few times. I'm gonna put the link in there a few more times to go to that link for that proposal called the Hands Up Act. So go ahead, Travis.
I want to say thank you all for inviting me. You didn't even have to talk about it. That's really appreciative. I'm a very patient person, take one step at a time. And thank you all that signed it. Just share it again. I mean, I told Cool Daddy earlier that like once you reach 600,000 to 800,000 signatures, that's when we passed the most recent bill in the House of Representatives where you can't abuse animals or it's a felony, or the Amazon rainforest, or like I saw this one article on artificial intelligence. This one dude wanted to protect our privacy, and all it took was 600,000 signatures. The politicians ignored them at first, but they got enough signatures. We're almost there. I'm saying let's go for 1 million, but like just keep on going. Like I'm going to share it. I appreciate all of you sharing it. Talk to your friends about it. And last but not least, you don't have to convince anybody of anything. Just share it. If they don't like it, whatever. Because it's all you can do is the best you can. And I appreciate all of you guys. I really appreciate you guys inviting me on.
No problem.
You an inspiration, man, for real.
Thank you.
As for being the catalyst of this movement, I thank you for taking the initiative, because think about it. It could have been anybody else. It could have been Cool Dad. It could have been somebody else. But I thank you for taking the initiative, for sticking to it, and for not being distracted by a lot of the noise that I know is coming your direction.
The more signatures you get, it's gonna come.
But don't let them deter you. Don't let them step on what God has destined for you. These are your preordained steps. Yeah. Don't let them take you off the path that you have been chosen for.
Right. We got your back, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You are destined for greatness, and we are here for you.
And I just checked the act, you guys, and it looks like so far there are 416,253 signatures. It's almost 500,000. So everybody, please share. It's change.org, Hands Up Act, and the link is in the chat. So click on the link, check it out, read about it. But bottom line is, it's an act to where police officers, when they shoot unarmed citizens, they automatically get 15 years.
Yes.
Behind bars, automatically.
I'm sorry, can I add one more thing?
Sure, go ahead.
I'm so sorry about this. We don't know how many people are shot unarmed a year.
Right.
I remember doing extensive research on this. Like, I remember looking up one number, like political fact or Political Facts said it was 73 unarmed black men that were shot unarmed, right?
Right.
And then I checked somewhere else. It said it was 100 black men. And I'm finding out they said they really don't fully report all the unarmed shootings.
They don't.
Oh, of course they don't. They don't want us. They don't want to know. They don't want to show how messy they are.
Yes. So it might not seem like it, but and there's 330 million, like 300 million Americans, and we notice, like I always say, the same people in power during legalized enslavement are in power today. So we do not know, and that's why I'm like, please, because as soon as this gets out here, it's going to expose a lot.
Yeah.
It's like when we found out, like when we started foiling, like what happened with these Afghanistan papers, and we found out that it was an unwinnable war for 18 years. Like this is going to expose a lot about policing for like it's going to, not only are we going to find out 2019, 2018 reports, we're probably going to go all the way back.
Right.
It's going to reveal a lot.
I also want to say, Travis, be very careful, sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
Because by spearheading this, you already got a target on your back because you got 2 stripes, you're black and you're a man. But now you definitely have a target on your back.
Mm-hmm.
Please be mindful of all situations that you're putting yourself in. And trust me, every black person that you see is not your friend. I'm just saying, and especially with some of these higher up politicians and stuff, they skinning and grinning in your face, but behind you, they plotting on your demise. So please be, mindful and vigilant about who you are with, who you're interacting with, and never underestimate these people, because if they can take you down or take you out, they will.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want you to be careful, huh?
Yeah. And somebody in the chat said, do not be deterred, Travis.
we got you, man. Even if I gotta come there.
Cool Buddy said, even if he gotta come there.
Hey, I'm letting you know now. If something happened to you, I'm gonna find out where you was at, who was there. I'm gonna be like a cop. Hey man, you good? Omaha, Nebraska, we holding you down for sure.
Hey, that's right. But yeah, you'll be fine. Everybody, make sure you support this act. I think it's definitely needed in our day and age, because the shootings aren't decreasing.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're not decreasing.
They're not, Felicia.
So
thank you for tuning in.
But thanks everybody. Please give Travis a hand clap.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Travis.
Thank you. Thank you. We thank you and appreciate everything you're doing, Travis.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Anything else you're doing, let us know, okay?
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And on that note, everybody, make sure you like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed to the Hood Table channel. And the link again, change.org, the Hands Up Act. The link is in the chat. I'm gonna put the link in the chat one more time.
One more again.
And of course, after the video wraps up, I'm gonna put the link in the comment section under the video. Okay. All right. And thank you, fam. Cool. I love going live with you.
I know. Hey, we gotta tag team more often, for real.
I know. I've been trying to man. Shoot, we right here in the same city now. Don't have me come looking for you. I
got you.
I'm gonna call your mama. I'm gonna call your daddy, my uncle.
That's wrong. That's why you don't link up with friends. I'm gonna call your mama. So unfair.
And thanks to everybody in the chat, my Hood Table fan, and to my Primetime Squad fan from Tanya's TV. Thanks again for everybody who tuned in tonight. Thanks again for everybody who has already supported the Hands Up Act and who have already signed. I literally see the numbers going up. I got this. I posted this link like everywhere, all over social media and all my different groups. A lot of you might recall of us speaking about this before on the Tanya's Primetime channel like 6 months ago. So again, Travis, who we were interviewing tonight, He is the creator of the Hands Up Act, and he saw that we had did a video about it 6 months ago. So he hit us up on Facebook and asked could he come on and, you know, speak more thoroughly about the act. So again, I do appreciate him as well for reaching out to us, because he didn't have to do it, but he did.
Right.
So everybody, I hope you enjoyed the live. Like, share, subscribe. And in the meantime and in between time, stay safe, be blessed, and we out. Deuces.
Deuces.